Welcome to week number 2 of creating piano performance and tutorial videos. In this week, we talk about 6 tips that will help you create really good videos. Tip number 1, why you want to shoot in landscape view. Now, sometimes you do want to shoot in portrait view, but for the most part, let's talk about why you might not want to. If the viewer turns their phone sideways, you can see how small the image is that you're actually trying to show. Also, if they're watching it on a computer, it's still really tiny. If you shoot in landscape, you can actually get a much cleaner and close-up shot for the things that you're looking for a piano video. Moving on to tip number 2, the angle. There are a couple things that you want to think about. One is, what does the user want to see the most in a piano video? And for the most part, they usually want to see the face and the fingers. So consider where you put your angle. Another angle that sometimes people use is shooting up. Instead of shooting uphill, consider shooting downhill where you can actually see the fingers a lot better. Also, lighting is a big deal. Tip number 3, make sure to get your lighting right. Notice in this one that I have what's called overexposure. That's too much light for the camera. And her face is blown out, her fingers are blown out, and the keys are blown out. And in order to solve this problem, you can consider using less light in the room or compensate in your camera settings on light exposure. A quick note on this, I see my reflection in the piano. Be very careful on everything that you see in the screen. Remove the chords in the background. Be careful of getting your reflection or anything else that you don't want to be seen in the video. In this video, you can see the back wall is lit very well, but the foreground on the subject is not lit as well. So take your lighting behind the camera and light the subject. If you light the subject, you'll be able to get a much cleaner view. Shooting in the dark can be very tricky. If you don't have a really good camera, you'll want to use more light to improve the graininess of your video. Also, there are times where you do want to shoot in the dark for special effects. Just remember what you're trying to get here in your video. Moving on to tip number 4, acoustics. Be careful not to get too much reverb. You cannot remove reverb in post-production, and it's really annoying to listen to a very echoey video. So one solution is to use soft things like curtains, carpet, other things that will absorb the sound. Personal things that you can use in your house are pillows and couches and curtains and other things that absorb sound. They make a very big difference. Now, if you don't have an elaborate microphone setup and expensive recording system, you can still get a very good recording from your smartphone with just the built-in microphone. A couple of tips to help. First, do not record from far away because you'll get a lot more echo. If you record close up, you'll get a much better sound. And tip number 5, if you're shooting the video all by yourself, you'll notice that you have to start the camera and stop the camera, and you may not want that part to be in your video. So it's very simple to go into your phone and click the edit button and edit the video and trim the first and the last part off the video. You can also do this in post-production software. And the last tip we'll just mention in this video is add some motion to your video. It makes a big impact. Next week, we're going to really dive into this one. It's a lot of fun. If you want to see the entire webinar, go to the link in the description and open the agenda. Scroll down until you see this chart and notice there are links of the full webinar and the abbreviated webinar. Okay, that wraps things up for week 2, and we'll see you for week 3 where we talk about adding motion to your video.